The Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a king and a queen who longed for a child more than anything in the world. For years, their greatest wish remained unfulfilled. But one warm afternoon, as the queen was bathing in a cool spring, a little frog hopped onto the edge and spoke to her. "Before a year has passed, you will bring a daughter into the world." And just as the frog had predicted, the queen soon gave birth to a baby girl, too. He decided to throw a magnificent feast to celebrate her birth. He invited his family, his friends, and most importantly, the wise fairies of the kingdom, so they might bless the child with magical gifts. But the king, having only 12 golden plates for them to eat from, he thought the 13th, being old and a bit grumpy, wouldn't mind. One by one, the fairies came forward to bestow their gifts upon the infant princess. The first gave her the gift of virtue. The second, the gift of beauty. Each gift was more wonderful than the last. After the 11th fairy had presented her gift, the doors to the great hall burst open. In stormed the 13th fairy, her face dark with fury. Her voice boomed through the silent hall, filled with spite. "I have a gift for the princess as well. When she turns 15, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel." Without another word, she turned and vanished in a puff of black smoke. The queen wept, holding her baby close. But then, the 12th fairy, who had not yet given her gift, stepped forward. "I cannot undo the evil curse," she said softly, "but I can soften it." She raised her wand over the crying baby. "The princess shall not die. Instead, she will fall into a deep, deep sleep that will last for 100 years. It was far better than death, and the royal court breathed a small sigh of relief. Determined to protect his daughter, the king immediately issued a decree. Every single spinning wheel in the entire kingdom was to be gathered and destroyed by fire. He hoped that by removing every last spindle, he could outsmart the evil fairy's curse. As the years passed, the princess, who they named Aurora, grew up, and all the good fairy's gifts blossomed in her. She was kind and gentle, beautiful beyond compare, and her mind was as sharp as it was compassionate. Everyone who met her loved her instantly. She lived a happy, sheltered life within the castle walls. The day before her 15th birthday arrived, the king and queen, perhaps a little nervous, had to attend to some royal business in a neighboring town, leaving the princess alone in the vast castle for the first time. Feeling curious and a little adventurous, Aurora decided to explore the parts of the castle she had never seen before. She wandered through endless corridors, peeked into forgotten rooms. Finally, she came to an old, lonely tower at the far end of the castle. She climbed the narrow, dusty stone steps until she reached a small wooden door. A strange humming sound was coming from inside. Pushing the door open, she saw a little room, and in it sat an old woman, busily working at a strange wooden contraption. "Good day," said the princess. "Polity. What is that you were doing?" The old woman, who was none other than the evil fairy in disguise, looked up with a crooked smile. The princess had never seen a spinning wheel before and was utterly fascinated. The whirring of the wheel and the swift dance of the spindle was mesmerizing. "Oh, it looks like so much fun!" As Aurora reached out and touched the pointed spindle, the curse instantly came true. She pricked her finger, and a wave of exhaustion washed over her. She swayed for a moment and then fell onto a nearby bed, instantly falling into a profound sleep. A gentle, drowsy enchantment spread like a silent mist throughout the entire castle. The king and queen, who had just returned and were walking up the main staircase, yawned and fell asleep right where they stood. In the stables, the horses fell asleep in their stalls. The dogs in the courtyard collapsed into slumber. The pigeons on the rooftop tucked their heads under their wings. Every single person and animal within the castle walls fell into the same deep, 100-year sleep. And around the castle, a great, impenetrable hedge of thorns began to grow. It grew thicker and taller with each passing year, its sharp branches interlocking until the entire castle was hidden from view. Only the very top of the highest tower, where the flag still flew, could be seen from far away. For, over the years, the story of the sleeping princess became a legend. People called her Briar Rose, and tales were told of the enchanted castle and the beautiful maidens sleeping within. Many brave and foolish princes from neighboring lands heard the story and tried to breach the thorn hedge. They clung to the men, trapping them, and none who tried to enter ever returned. Olahan. On that very day, a handsome and kind-hearted prince from a distant kingdom happened to be traveling through the land. He saw the top of the old tower peeking over the woods and asked an old man about the mysterious castle. The old man told him the legend of Briar Rose, the sleeping princess who had been cursed to sleep for a century, waiting for a true love's kiss to awaken her. Unlike the princes before him, this prince was not driven by glory, but by a sense of wonder and compassion. He felt a strange pull towards the hidden castle and knew he had to see it for himself. As he approached the fearsome wall of thorns, a miracle occurred. The 100 years were up. Instead of a barrier of sharp spikes, the hedge had transformed into a wall of beautiful, fragrant flowers. The large, thorny bushes parted on their own, creating a clear path for him to walk through. He entered the castle courtyard and was met with an eerie, silent scene. He saw the sleeping guards, the slumbering horses, and the still pigeons. He walked into the great hall and saw the entire court, frozen in time. The king and queen were asleep on their thrones, walking through the silent halls until he finally found the staircase to the old tower. He climbed the steps and opened the small wooden door. Lying on the bed was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Her cheeks were rosy, and a gentle smile played on her lips, as if she were having a wonderful dream. He was completely captivated. He felt an overwhelming urge to lean down, and, very gently, he kissed her. The moment his lips touched hers, Briar Rose's eyes fluttered open. She looked up at the prince and smiled, her eyes shining with happiness. The spell was broken. "Is it you, my prince?" she whispered. "I have been dreaming of you for so long." The good fairy had filled her long sleep with dreams of his arrival. At that very same moment, the entire castle woke up. The horses in the stable neighed and stomped their feet. The dogs in the courtyard began to bark and chase their tails. 2. The pigeons flew up from the roof, and in the kitchen, the cook finally gave the kitchen boy the slap he had started 100 years ago. The prince and Briar Rose came down from the tower hand in hand. The king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter awake and well, and even more so to see her with the brave prince who had saved them all. It didn't matter one bit that the princess was technically 100 years older than her prince. You couldn't tell at all. A magnificent wedding was planned shortly after, view even grander than the feast of her birth. And they all lived, as stories like this so often end, happily ever after. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to follow for more wonderful stories.